Unfortunately, federal agents continue to escalate violence in Portland, Oregon. And in an updated story, it appears that they've even sprayed tear gas into a crowd that included the mayor, Ted Wheeler. We have a video showing what that scene looked like. Let's take a look. So in the early morning at around 12:30 a.m., the local police department announced that people needed to disperse because they declared the protest a riot. Shortly after that, the federal agents started using the tear gas. And as I mentioned, Ted Wheeler, the mayor, was in that crowd. And so he talked to the press about what that experience was like and answered questions about whether anyone in that crowd of protesters did anything to provoke that kind of response. Take a look.
I'm not gonna lie, it stings, it's hard to breathe, and I can tell you with 100% honesty, I saw nothing that provoked this response. It's nasty stuff. I'm not afraid, but I am pissed off.
What are you pissed about?
This is a egregious overreaction on the part of the federal officers. There was nothing that I saw anybody do that warranted this reaction. And all it's doing, as you can see, it hasn't stopped the stuff. So they fired munitions, they fired tear gas. All it's done is piss everybody off even more. It's made people angry. They've come in and they've cooked a hornet's nest.
Sure.
So he was very clear there in stating that no one in the crowd did anything to, provoke that kind of reaction from the federal agents, the use of the tear gas. And by the way, Cenk, one of the Portland protesters told ABC News, quote, "I think it's giving him a little sampling of those of us who have been out here. This is the first time I've ever seen a mayor or any public official be in the depths of what's going on." And I think it is important for elected leaders and local politicians to be out there with the crowd to really get a firm sense of what's happening. Because what we keep hearing from the Trump administration, from the local police, and from these federal agents is that these protesters are violent and they're unruly and they're causing violence. But really the violence begins the second the federal agents get involved and start using these types of weapons against them.
So I'm right there with you. I can't remember the last time I saw a government official inside a protest that was real enough that it got tear gassed or attacked by forces. And so partly because the police report to the mayor normally, so they'd be a little reluctant to attack the mayor. But in this case, it's federal secret police. So they don't care about mayor, governor, or anything. They don't care about the law. Democratically elected officials, who cares who you think your representative is? We're the secret police. You don't even know who we are. What difference does it make? There's no accountability. And Trump told us to gas you guys, so we're gonna gas you guys. And so this is insane. Look, in terms of his reaction, I love that he was in there because he seemed genuinely surprised. Because I think officials are used to not believing regular people, let alone protesters.
Absolutely.
Those are the people that they believe the least of all. And so when they see it with their own eyes, if they could open them long enough, yeah, he had goggles on, so he could see better during the tear gas. When they see it with their own eyes, then they go, "Oh my God, they weren't lying." This is the same thing that happens with black folks in this country. When people actually see it with their own eyes, they're like, "Oh my God, every black person in the country wasn't lying." Yeah, of course they weren't lying. But the media's trained us on this too. People who are officials are correct. Everyone who doesn't have power is not to be believed. And so I love that he saw it for himself so he could believe it. And now finally, the last part that's confusing here is Portland police at 12:30 gave the announcement that it was officially declared a riot. But then federal forces fired the tear gas. Portland police are not allowed to use tear gas by court order. So I thought the coordination had ended. So what happened there?
Well, let me give you some more details on that, because there's no question, and we've talked about this in previous stories, that the local police department, the police union representing the Portland Police Department, has been colluding with these federal agents. They asked for the federal agents to step in, and unfortunately, that's what we're seeing happening now. And so the Portland City Council did recently vote to make it clear that the Portland Police Department is not to work with these federal agents in any way. Let me read you the wording here. The measure orders all members of the Portland Police Department to stop giving or receiving operational support from officers representing the Department of Homeland Security, US Marshal Service, Federal Protective Service, and Customs and Border Protection. Under the resolution, police are also banned from overseeing demonstrations alongside federal officers. And a federal judge earlier this month also issued an order exempting credentialed media members. I can't believe that this even needs to be a court order. Exempting credentialed media members and legal observers from threat of arrest after police declare an unlawful assembly, because that was also a trend that we were noticing in Portland, where the police would declare the gathering a riot. And then as reporters are doing their jobs, reporting on what's happening, some of them got arrested as well. And so that's why a federal judge needed to step in and say something about it.
Yeah, so they got to straighten this out. If the city council says the cops are not under any circumstances to work with the federal forces, and the mayor said that they are no longer working with the forces, and then they gas their own mayor or go wink, wink, the riot has been declared, federal forces gas the hell out of them. There should be severe consequences for police that are not following the law. Now, there never is, because the cops are above the law. They can bring any law they like, and they'll always get away with it. That's why the police union head is going, yeah, what are you gonna do about it? So what? Yeah, I'm gonna help Trump, and we're gonna coordinate. Well, somebody should tell them that we are gonna do something about it. If they find any evidence that those cops again coordinated with federal forces after the city council told them not to, they should all immediately be fired. I know, oh my God, fire a police officer. How could you do that? Easily, fire them, and replace them with people who will actually do their job, instead of tear gassing people like moms that are going out there to lock arms and protect people. So look, let me make two other clarifications. Ted Wheeler, the mayor there, was working with federal forces earlier, was allowing the police to work with federal forces earlier until the cameras showed up. Let's be clear about that. But I'm glad he switched over to the other side for political reasons or not. At least he's on the right side now, so that's good. But giving you context, and so at the end of the day, he's got to figure out, can he control his own police or can't he? And I agree with the DA in Philadelphia. If federal forces violate local laws, the police should arrest them. I know it's a recipe for disaster, but we didn't start this. Trump started it by bringing in federal forces. Those protests are now much larger than they were before Trump sent in his secret police. So he started the fire. Let's be clear about that.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.